Zwemmen zoals niemand. De snelheid die de trilling, de beving in een kleur, ja.
So hello, welcome on board. My name is Bardthesque. I'm a poet, I'm a lyricist, I'm a performer, I'm a former slam poet, I have a poetry band, I make music. Poets tend to call me a musician, musicians tend to call me a poet. I studied sculpture, so you can call me an audiovisual poet. I call myself an all-around poet for obvious reasons. You can call me Frank, you can call me Patrick. If it works for you, that's great. So here we are. I was asked by the kind people of Versopolis to talk to you about video poetry. So what is video poetry? That's a very interesting question because apparently no one really seems to know exactly what it is. It is more like a convention. You have all these sorts of film poetry, video poetry, poetry videos, etc., video art. I am not aware of any definite set of rules to make video poetry. You have the technical part of it, of course, but that is only part of it. So in a sense, we could say that if you make a video that has anything to do with poetry, you might as well call it a video poem. It can be anything. So I guess that we need to become our own teachers, right? We need to invent ourselves as video poets. So there are many ways, of course, of doing that. And one of those ways is presumably by simply watch the work of others and watch it very closely and draw some conclusions and use those conclusions for your own benefits. So that is why later on I will show you some of my videos, have a bit of an explanation. I will see what happens. But first, I would like to tell you a bit, well, what led me to the path of video poetry. First of all, it has never been my ambition to be led on the path of video poetry, but something got me there. Something got me there, and this something was TTS. In 2010, I discovered the text-to-speech function on my laptop by accident. Now, TTS, we all know it. It enables blind people to listen to a text through an artificial voice, a computer voice, text-to-speech voice. Nowadays, social media are filled with them, but in those days, that was not really the case. Anyway, so about 15 years ago, I was almost exclusively performing live on stages with or without musicians. And then the discovery of TTS, I started to realize that I could also perform through these voices. And that broadened my range of options, to express myself, to express what I was searching for, just as a different way to express my use of language in a more virtual context. So the thing was, all of a sudden I had to command over an entire army of voices, countless vocal puppets, digital actors, voiceovers, lingual prostheses. So, it got a hold of me. And the interesting thing, some of these voices are based on actual human voices. Others are not. So some were originally real, some never were. They are somewhere between real and unreal, but they are very present at the same time, nevertheless. Perhaps similar to language, to dreams, to colors, to consciousness, even. Anyway, I wanted to use these voices as a tool to think better, and in an effort to express my words more accurately. So in the end, TTS got me started and eventually led me to the realm of video poetry. Although I do not use TTS in all of my videos, not at all, but it got me started. That is why I have selected some early videos for you, some with TTS, the use of TTS, some without it. Now, these videos are selected from my Ghosties project, which is just, a playlist on my YouTube channel where I post my videos. These videos can be dialogues, these videos can be poetry music videos, these videos can be conceptual exercises. Exercises We'll watch some of these exercises, audio-visual sketches, and the first ones, they focus on one idea at the time. I try to keep it simple. It is complex enough when you are creating to keep it simple. So I'd rather make like 5 different videos. They have one isolated, narrowed down idea, and then later on, who knows, they can confluence, they can affect each other. But for the sake of clarity, and especially during the early videos that I made, that was very important to me. So the title says it all, really. Sound poetry is essentially musical performance poetry of phonetics. Phonetics that become music. Phonetics as a bridge between literature and musical composition. Now here I simply wrote a sound poem, but instead of performing it myself, I gave it to TTS Natasha. And the footage is representation of the poem from my own point of view. Now this is perhaps the easiest use of TTS, of course, TTS as a vocal stand-in. Considering the phonetics, we'll get back to that later on. Then you have another video without TTS this time. So it is what it is. The title says it again. An automatic translation fail. So what? Yeah, it's true. Until perhaps we involve Marcel Duchamp. Marcel Duchamp. The footage is part of a Marcel Duchamp interview, very poorly translated with obscure, uncanny, nonsensical, Dadaist-like results. Now, Duchamp, of course, became famous with his ready-mades. Perhaps you know this, a urinal with the words r.mut, which he exhibited in very short ready-mades. They are actually, or they were, are daily objects that become art when they are put into an art context, an art gallery, for example. So Duchamp created another meaning for the urinal by exhibiting it. It is very cliché nowadays, of course. But this video is an attempt to create ready-made words, mistakes that shift meaning after they are used by the artist, by myself. So this is about the transformation of meaning, really. The transformation of the translation, which is a transformation itself. The translation transforms spoken words into written text. The written text is transformed into a ready-made word. The failed translations end up become poetry. It is more or less, I think of it as the American dream for any failed translation. One idea at a time. Try to keep it simple. Oh yes, Bill said something as well. Let's have a watch. Let's have a look.
Just saying that if you can see your hands, that means that you are not dreaming. Okay? If you can see your hands, then you are in control of the dream. This peanut butter. Now, if you can't see your hands, well,
So what Bill said, William Burroughs, famous writer, primary figure of the Beat Generation, notorious junkie as well. I once read a quote where he was talking about lucid dreams, so being aware of the dream during the dream, and he was aiming to get control over the dream. And he also stated, and I quote, that the important thing was to see my hands in the dream. So I made out of it, if you can see your hands, you are in control of the dream. If you can't see your hands, there is nothing you can do. Or is there? Are we controlling a dream, or are we surrendering to a dream? Making video can of course also help you to raise the questions or metaphors that you are trying to formulate, just by making them, without considering the end result as such. I am talking with a mouthful of crackers and peanut butter, that is correct, for the very urgent reason that I was extremely hungry during the recording of the audio. So it was out of pure necessity. Daily life, entering the process, entering the dream, why not? If it works, if it makes it better, then let it be. Burroughs also popularized the cut-up technique, where a written text is cut up and rearranged to create a new text, to create new meanings. And an early application of this apparently is to be found in T.S. Eliot's famous The Waste Land. Now, I didn't know this until a couple of days ago, but it brings us to the next video.
Nil fucko channel 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 fucko chain.
Now, fucko chain. Yes, so what is this then? It is a collaboration between Samurai, Belgian hip-hop artist, and myself. One night we were hanging out, and I couldn't help but notice that he had a copy of The Waste Land on a shelf around 2 o'clock from my vision. So we took it out, and we randomly selected 4 syllables out of the poem. Now, TTS Marianne, she performed the syllables because she was available. Then we put everything in a short loop, and then Sam, he filmed my mouth while I was playbacking the words. So I was mimicking an originally real but now fake voice that was very present at the same time. That was the idea. That was the fun we had. That was the playful, spontaneous, conceptual exercise that we did. Then let's have a look at the longest, or part of the longest video that I have made this far. Free at last. This video started off with a dream I had. I was not in control of the dream, in case you were wondering. I dreamt about a demonstration of millions of AI creatures. It's true. And they stood up for their basic rights. And they took it onto the streets. And they were furious. And they expressed their rage in binary code, their native tongue, their dialect, we could say. Now, I thought of this as an excellent opportunity to translate the entire I Have a Dream speech of Martin Luther King into binary code, which I did. Thousands, tens of thousands of symbols. The code was expressed by Alex, a very robotic, artificial sounding voice. What we see is the original footage of the event in Washington, but stretched out, adjusted to the length of the audio. So this video originally takes 3 hours, 21 minutes and 32 seconds. So once again, it's all about using language, using art history, using popular culture, using dreams. You can use anything to express what you are searching for. Now, in the next video, I took things a bit further. I once wrote a short poem in my own dialect. I will first read my own translation to give you an idea what it is about, and then we'll have a look at the original. I'm not a translator. I'll try my best. just to give you an idea. We'll not get into the poem itself, just to know, have an idea what I'm talking about. So the poem goes like this. Bastard of a seagull, there is weeping throughout the air, seeking like thunder on a dead day. Listens, voices approach, from its wings drop ever inward, possessed master of being, soul of any station, crow of the North Sea, bastard of a seagull.
Bastard van de neve dan blijft aan de lucht. Het zoekt lik dunder op een doorgeslegen dag. Hoort, ze stemmen was een uitse vlerken, druppelende vlerken. Als aan moordieper in een boars, bezeten meester in zielen van een stoosje. Krooien van de Noordzee, bastard van de Meeuwen.
So yes, this one is specifically about the use of TTS. It was written in my dialect. I speak Flemish. I'm from Belgium. I speak Flemish in the Netherlands. They speak Dutch. It's like American English and English a bit. And my dialect is West Flemish. It's a very old type of Flemish. And no TTS voice is, of course, able to perform that in an accurate and a genuine way. Or is there? Let's invent ourselves. So I invented a way to make it happen by arranging all the words phonetically, so that the Dutch-speaking TTS is actually able to pronounce the poem, the sounds, pretty perfect in my own dialect. And the phonetically rearranged text, that is what the audio cue is about. Now, during the making of the video, I had a terrible internet connection, which is reflected in the crappy result, the crappy quality of it. But its bad aesthetics of the video are just part of its conception, so I just left it there. It is just like a mouthful of crackers, really. Now, I already did experiments with this, adjusting text with phonetics to manipulate the text, really, back in 2010. The music of this video was composed by my poetry band, Ten Adem, and the track was released on our second album, Katzen Jammer, in 2018. Poem in slow motion, yes. In 2006, I was attending Art Academy. I made a Carrara marble sculpture with the title Poem in Slow Motion. The sculpture resembles a thick sheet of paper, and it needs to be physically touched in order to experience it. So you need to touch the surface to sense what the sculpture is about. It is a tactile, slowed down, silent, solid pre-poem, a study considering the poetical process. It is, in effect, the poem right before it comes to mind. So that was the sculpture. But where is the poem, right? So years later, I decided to continue using the title. Now, one way of suggesting something is by showing what it is not. It's called the negative method to unveil things. And I wanted to unveil the poem by showing what it was not. So what is the poem not? The poem is many things not. So you can go all the way. You can use various ways or methods. So what did I do? I cut up the title into 3 syllables. Poem in and slow motion. And I combine these syllables to their extreme possibilities, which means 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27. So the poem is not entirely, anyway, these 27 combinations. That was the idea. These performed 27 combinations are an effort to show you what a poem is not. And I try to unveil the poem by suggesting the 28th or the non-existing combination. That was the exercise. So the sculpture referred to the poem right before it comes to mind. The 28th non-existing combination refers to the poem as it comes to mind, and the video itself is the remnant of the poem, the ashes of it, its exoskeleton, disguised into a strange living room circus dance, because it is all one big show, isn't it, in the end. The music was also composed by Ten Adem. The track is also to be found on Cats and Jammer, the same album. And this video actually was selected in 2022 by the Mexican Film Poetry Festival, Fotogenia. Okay, so this is how I got into the realm of video poetry. So, just to say, you can do anything. You can use anything. You can use history. You can use philosophy. You can use pop culture, daily life, anything, man. Just be playful. Just use it like a tool. Use it like you would build a house with a hammer and a saw. It's just the same thing, really. And if you lack technical skills, just play, enjoy the playing as well. And if you have enough technical skills, it's important to keep on playing, because that is the source where it all comes from, in my personal experience. But anyway, if you want to know more, to learn more, you have remarks, you have proposals, you have anything to say to me, you can always contact me. You can find me. All the information is to be found somewhere here below. So keep on track and take care. Enjoy. We're almost at the end of our time together, dear viewer. However, we are not entirely done yet. I have something in store for you. One other video, a poetry music video, also released on Cats and Jammer. Tonight is a Machine is its title, aka No One Dances Like Poets. The video, by the way, was directed by a Versopolis poet, Matthijs de Raad. Go and check him out. Now my poetry band, Ten Adem, will release another album in a couple of months. So check out us as well if you are interested in these things. For this video, I did not translate the lyrics because I just want you to feel it. We have had enough words for now, and just, at the end of something, we can always get up and dance poetry as well. So cheers.
Niemand houdt van dansen, dichter dansen als ze dichten, dichter denken er als ze dansen in hun gedichten. Niemand danst, niemand die danst als dichters. En dichters die ontwaken als niemand ze benadert met kneukels zonder handen die fluksend op een strelen wordt. Niemand in zijn wakker ligt, niemand in beweging. Weegt niemand de bewoners van de dagen. Nee, bewoners kennen niemand, niemand die kan denken. Niemand kan niet denken buiten beelden om waar niemand schuilt. Denk, beelden zijn brillen tussen het denken en uzelf. Tussen wat en dat denkt zich en zichzelf accent. En niemand houdt van dansen, dichter dansen als ze dichter denken er als ze dansen in hun gedichten. Niemand danst, niemand die danst als dichters. Ze zien het vanuit nergens, nee nergens vanuit niemand. Als zwellend in de cel, rond de cellen van het heel. Al van al hun cellen zwellend in hun zijn. Niemand niemand die kan zwemmen, zwemmen. Eén cel die kan zwemmen, zwemmen zoals niemand. De snelheid die de trilling, de beving in een kleur, ja, in